Hey, we're on. Welcome everybody to Listen Up. I am Yvette LaBoy and this is Andy Zool. And I am super excited. Can you see I'm excited? To have on today Ms. Bonnie Bea. She is the founder of Beyond Autoimmune and she is an integrated holistic practitioner. Bonnie empowers women with autoimmune disorders to break free from the oppressive cycle of chronic pain, so they can get their energy back and start healing. She has more than 10 years experience, folks. That's over a decade. That's pretty awesome, right? Facilitating group transformations and helping hundreds of people. She has been interviewed as an expert in healing autoimmunity for international audiences and women's empowerment, which I really love because, folks, you know, we are all about women's empowerment here at Listen Up. And she has a degrees in biological science and various healing modalities, certifications, and she uses a unique step-by-step process that helps women connect to their body's wisdom and soul's intention so they can finally have power over their pain. So I am happy, we are happy to introduce you the beautiful and amazing Bonnie Bea. Welcome, Bonnie Bea. How are you?
Hi, Yvette. Thank you so much for having me. This is really incredible. I love how we're able to meet from coast to coast.
That is definitely, what a treat, right? To have the social media to be able to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All good. Everyone's like, the world's getting worse. No, that's getting better. Look what we have available.
It's so awesome. Yes, it's totally awesome.
It is.
Our first question, you wanna ask?
I do. One of the first questions that I had, and a couple of people that I know had, was what your experience was like having rheumatoid arthritis is what you had, right? And from my understanding, it's a very painful experience. I, in fact, know a few people with that that I'm also trying to guide. So I wanted to know, we wanted to know what your experience was with that and what you did and how long it took for you to heal.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to share that with you. First of all, I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. Do you guys hear that too?
Oh, wait, could it be the fan?
Is that better? Does that sound better?
I can mainly hear it when I'm speaking. I can hear myself speaking, but now it sounds like it's better.
Okay,
good.
Great.
Thank you for fixing that. Okay, great. Yes. So I'd love to tell you about what my experience was with autoimmune disorders and how it really brought me to where I am today with helping other people manage chronic pain and chronic fatigue. So, you know, it's been years since I have really had an intense flare up or like been struggling with the arthritis in a really strong way. And it's been incredible because in this time that I have been feeling better, I've been able to help hundreds of people manage their pain. I've been able to be interviewed as an expert on healing autoimmunity and women's empowerment. And I am really loving that I get to share my work in the world based on something that is so near and dear to my heart.
And when you say Thera, how can you describe Thera?
Yeah. So before I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, the experience that I was having was after my daughter was born, I began to have symptoms of really painful joints to the point where it was actually painful to hold my baby. And you know, similar to many women or people's experience who experience autoimmune disorders, I was going to the doctor and I said, look, I'm having really painful swollen joints. I'm tired all the time. I'm having all these fluctuations in my weight. And there was some time where they said, well, it's all in your head. Like, you're totally fine. Your health is good. Your numbers are fine. But eventually I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and it was within just a few years, it had gotten so bad that I was actually using a walker to get from my bedroom to the bathroom.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my, we're thrilled to have you here. Like I said, I have friends who suffer with that and, pain medications and, all of that. I try to talk them out of it, of course, but I did tell them about this today. So, a lot of people are going to be getting on. And, oh my gosh, I can't, you look fantastic. And I'm really excited to hear more about what you do, and especially about your theta healing.
Yeah,
what led you to, or what drove you to want to be a theta healer? Because from my understanding, it really is an aspect of law of attraction, which, by the way, I follow. I love it.
Absolutely, yeah. So, just like I had said, I was really ill. And it was in those moments of being so really like at my rock bottom that I made that commitment that I would do whatever it took to restore my health. Not only for myself, but also, I'm the mother of at the time was a small child. She's a teenager now, but
she looked great.
Yeah. So I made that commitment. So, I'd say it started with the commitment of getting really real about what I wanted and committing to it. And that commitment looked like, me spending a lot of money out of pocket. That commitment looked like me, taking time away from my child when I thought it wasn't possible. That commitment really took me to doing things above and beyond what I ever thought was possible or that I even thought I was capable of. And so along my healing journey, what I did is I eventually got myself back to school. I completed my degree in biological sciences, and I also, alongside getting my degrees in college, I simultaneously was taking classes for any and every sort of healing sort of modality that really interested me.
So your passion grew basically from having compassion for others who suffer with the same autoimmune disease, correct? Right?
I would say that
from love, that's where your passion sprouted.
Yeah, I would say that it definitely started with my own selfish interest of just getting better for myself. And then once I got better, I said, oh my gosh, these tools have really helped me, and it's important for me to share them with others.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Yes.
So, Bonnie, what therapy or therapies do you feel was the thing that really helped you turn your health around? Was it one specific therapy, or was it everything that we just spoke about that you feel that really helped you to turn your health around and transform into the person that you are today?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I would have to say that in all, there was no one specific thing. I think that, there is obviously no substitute for living a healthy lifestyle, eating the right food, getting out of bed, getting some movement, having really wonderful and supportive friends and relationships and things like that. And I would say that for myself, one of the key pieces within the bigger picture was really creating this relationship with my body that cultivated a trust and a way that I could connect to my body in a way that was consistent and reliable, that allowed me to access my own intuition, my own inner guidance, and what was my personal next step for healing. And it was once I really started to cultivate that relationship with myself and with my body that I was taken from this sort of plateau of like, oh, I'd get better to this point and kind of level off there. And then I was really able to like go past that. And like I said, I just really want to reiterate, I think everything is important. Healthy diet, getting support from doctors and naturopaths and everything. Like if you are someone who is really wanting to get better, all pieces are important. So just keep looking and noticing what is good for you.
Right, right. And that basically also really touches the spirit when you're faced with something so, you just you start to get in tune with yourself, like you said, and you start to have to deal with yourself, and you grow from that. So it's kind of like a curse, but a blessing, a very big blessing, because it's really just a growth time, and you made it into something positive, and that's wonderful. You're such an inspiration, and I'm sure you have so much to share. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Can you
thank you.
quickly explain to us what is exactly what is theta healing? Because I think that a lot of people want to know how that works,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to explain that to you. Theta healing is an energetic healing modality, and it was one of the things that I kind of ran into along my way. I met a theta healing practitioner, and I remember going to sessions with her because I was just kind of looking for anything and everything. And I remember after my first session with her, I felt a palpable shift in the way that I was experiencing life. I would say at the time that I went to see her, I was really feeling super anxious and depressed and confused and hopeless and fearful of like, well, what is my future with this disorder and things like that. And I remember that after my first session, I felt like that depression and that fear had really lifted. And hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
So what my experience was is I was going to this practitioner, and all I could tell was that I'd step into her office and she'd do some sort of magic, and I'd leave and I feel better. And I was like, okay, but what's happening? And eventually she was teaching classes, and so I said, okay, I'm going to sign up for this class because if she can do it, I can do it, and if this is something that can be learned, I want to have this in my toolbox. And so it definitely took years to learn, and it was also important to me not only to become a practitioner but an instructor of theta healing so that I could also teach people how to use this tool. But in a short synopsis, right? This theta healing is an energetic healing modality tool that uses the theta healing brainwave to allow a person to drop in to the subconscious parts of the mind so that we can get the subconscious parts of our mind that are in resistance on board with the conscious parts of our mind that know where we want to go. So it's similar to like the law of attraction, right? It's like
energy healing.
It is an energy healing modality, and if we know where we want to go and we know what we want, it is just so natural for the body and the mind and the whole spirit and being really just to say like, are you sure about that? Like, here's some resistance, here's some doubt, here's some fears, and here's some disbelief. Anytime we want to make change, that is just the human response. And so theta healing has been a really wonderful tool for helping those subconscious mind blocks that are that fear and that resistance get on board with the moving forward direction.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. Also, what I wanted to ask, and somebody else wanted to ask, is that do you see a connection with trauma all across the board with all your autoimmune disease clients, or with just some?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say that trauma, people who have autoimmune disorders, the people that I see are commonly people who have experienced trauma. I'm going to ask a question that popped up. Is theta healing similar to tapping? Yes and no. Tapping is a tool that also like connects us to those subconscious blocks, and theta healing also does that, but in a completely different way.
Right, that's a great way to explain it. It does,
yeah.
And everyone has their different, what works for them. And what would you say people feel when they are receiving this energy healing? What did you feel when you were, what's that feeling like?
Most people tell me that the sensation that they experience is like a deep sense of peace and a deep sense of trust. And it's like as if the hopelessness or the depression lifts. So and with that, I'll go back to speaking about the piece about trauma. There have been studies done that show that if somebody experiences chronic childhood abuse or unpredictable trauma in childhood, that they are more likely to suffer from a health-related condition as an adult. And that could be heart disease, that could be autoimmune disorders. And the reason why this is because chronic unpredictable stress creates a heightened experience and expression of the immune response. And when a person is experiencing a lifestyle where they don't know when the next verbal, physical, emotional, or sometimes even sexual attack or abuse is going to come from, they constantly start living in the fight or flight response. And that leads to an increase in inflammation and all those other physical things that happen. And if that happens over time long enough, it's like as if the switch for the heightened immune response is turned on and it's not turned off. So in a lot of the work that I do, like theta healing is one example, tapping is another tool. There are many, many different tools that we can use to really bring the body's response from high inflammation and high fight or flight down to a normal level.
Sure, because everything, right, on a molecular level, we're just all energy. And I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand that, and I think it's wonderful what you're doing. Wonderful.
That makes sense.
So I saw a question. I saw a question pop up. I just want to make sure I answer it.
And midway, are you a practitioner? Is this like Reiki? Jeannie. Hi, Jeannie. How are you, sweetheart? I came in midway. Are you a practitioner? Is this like Reiki, where you're using an energy direction to connect subconsciously with the conscious mind? And that's from Jeannie Hauser.
Hi, Jeannie. Thanks for asking.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Sarah is. I teach classes every Wednesday night at a beautiful wellness center here in Woodside, Queens, called Project Life Center, and Sarah is one of the co-founders, and she happens to be on. Thank you for being on today, Sarah.
Oh, great.
Actually today we're doing this show from a different page. Usually we do it from our page, Yvette LeBoy, where we have more people on there, but I want to get people used to coming to our coaching page.
Right.
Where it should be. So people are starting to get on now, which is great.
And just in case anyone's wondering, I am an assertiveness communication coach, and I use the law of attraction. So that's what I do. My website is currently under construction. I'll be up again soon. So.
And another thing I want to mention, so we can go out interviewing Bonnie, is that I'm creating a lupus group program, and it's taking some time to put it together because I have a whole bunch of other things going on. But Bonnie is actually going to be one of the specialists speaking, and she's going to be speaking on the topic, the emotional healing that she's talking about right now. That's going to be the topic she's speaking about. And also Andy Zool is going to be one of the speakers as well. And I want to create this group of powerful female healers for this program because it's something that's near and dear to me. And what you were saying, Bonnie, I can totally relate to it because I suffered with lupus for about 16 years of my life. It took me 2 years to heal my body completely. And I did have to work on not only the physical, but also the emotional and the spiritual and on an energetic level in order to heal completely. Because what I noticed after I did the physical work, there was still some stuff out there. And I had to go into that deep, dark rabbit hole that we don't like to go into. And actually do the work. And it wasn't easy, but I did it because I was so desperate to heal. So what you're saying is so powerful, and I really want to send that message out there. And this is why I asked you to come on the show, because I feel the work that you do is so important when it comes to healing. And a lot of people don't realize that they really have to go into that emotional, energetic level to heal completely.
Right.
Because we're not just physical beings, we're also spiritual and energetic beings. Right. And in modern medicine, they just look at the physical,
right?
Not the spiritual and emotional. So
People need proof. They need to see proof.
And when it comes to stuff like that, sometimes you can't show it. But now what I see, there's more studies that are coming up that are actually proving that the work that you're doing on an energetic and emotional level is actually something that people need to do as well in order to heal completely.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Hey, Mark Chesney, thank you for joining in. The next question is, okay, you answer that. I also heard you speak one time. Actually, it was on the summit that we did together. I met Bonnie through a autoimmune summit that we did about a year ago. You spoke about transgenerational healing and soul fragments. Can you explain that for our viewers?
Yeah, I'd be happy to explain that. And just to answer Jenny's question is, I specialize in helping women with chronic pain and chronic fatigue heal from autoimmune disorders using various modalities. So just answering that question. And yes, transgenerational and soul fragment healing. Okay, so these are two different things. So I'll talk about first the transgenerational piece. Similar to how we inherit our eye color and our hair color from our ancestors, we also inherit subconscious beliefs. We also inherit patterns of trauma and really like imprinted memories in our DNA. And this is proven through epigenetics, right? Yes. Which is becoming much more popular these days.
That is right. Absolutely.
And so what we're seeing is that, you know, our genetic makeup and how it's expressed is not just a matter of what is the code in the DNA, but also the epigenetics that turn each individual gene on and off. And that information is carried, that information is passed onto us because of our ancestors. When those epigenetic changes are made in our ancestors, then it's genetically passed down. And so transgenerational healing means that we can use energetic healing modalities and epigenetics in order to actually shift those epigenetic patterns so that the body can express genes in a way that is more healthy. And actually, I have my degree in biological science, and I remember one of the really cool things that was coming out, which they've probably done a lot more on it recently, but I haven't been checking on it, was actually how instead of targeting genes, targeting the proteins that transcribe the genes as a way of targeting things medically now, which was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That is cool.
Yeah. Oh, and the soul fragments, please. Sorry. Let me. That kind of goes back to the trauma piece. Is when somebody experiences trauma, the safest thing for the person to do sometimes is totally, completely disassociate from their body. And in psychology realms, that's called disassociation. Yes. However, like, I believe that there is a spiritual aspect to that. And when we separate from our bodies and we separate from our soul, it's like our soul kind of shatters into 1,000 pieces. And if we don't make a conscious effort to really regroup those pieces and bring all the parts back to ourselves, then we actually feel that sensation of like, I just feel like I'm not whole, or I'm not complete, or something's missing. Ever since that happened, I haven't felt the same, is kind of how people describe that. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So, why do you think, Bonnie, that people who also need to heal on an emotional level in order to have complete healing? Like I mentioned before, I know in my healing journey, I had to go and do the emotional healing in order to heal completely. And I believe in that. But what are your feelings on that, since this is the work that you do?
I'd like to. Well, first I want to. Yeah, I want to thank you, Sona, for mentioning the adverse childhood experience study. Yeah, that I mentioned, I pointed to that a little bit earlier. It's such an incredible study to look up if anybody wants to know more about how chronic unpredictable stress can affect health later on in life. To answer your question, Yvette, I believe that doing the emotional healing is just as equally as important as any of the other parts.
Yes.
Having a healthy diet, exercising, surrounding yourself with healthy relationships, you know, taking your vitamins and your supplements and making sure that your body has all the physical things that it needs, as well as getting supports from doctors and medical professionals and things like that. I feel like in the holistic realm of healing, if any one of those pieces is missing, it's going to be hard to heal. But the pattern that I see is that this emotional piece is kind of one of the last pieces that people often find, because it's very easy to say, like, if I just do all these things to heal, then I'll get better. And it's leave this person in this pattern of like doing and achieving and doing more and doing more. And it's kind of like being that hamster on the wheel. And sometimes that emotional piece is really just kind of sitting back and being self-reflective. And it's not about doing so much as it is about really going inward. And so I find that a lot of times it's the piece that people are missing.
Right. I totally agree. Totally agree. And I think sometimes people have a hard time digging in deeper because they have to deal with all, like I said, jumping into that dark rabbit hole sometimes cannot be easy. But have you ever, here's a question I want to ask you. Have you ever had a client that when you start working on that level, any resistance? And what did you do to go around that to help them to kind of have a smoother transaction into healing on a deeper level?
That's a fantastic question. I would say that resistance comes up for anybody, anytime anybody is willing to make a change to make their life better.
Yes,
and it comes
absolutely.
up in all sorts of forms. And to speak a little bit more specifically to your question is I really believe in guiding people towards their inner truth, their inner knowing, their inner wisdom, and their inner guidance. And I would not suggest to anybody like, hey, let's just dive into your deepest, darkest secrets of all the things that you've suppressed and never ever wanted to look at, because that is not really healing or supporting somebody to kind of rehash trauma. However, getting really clear with somebody about, you know, where is it that you found your strength? Where is it, like, what is that in you that, in those times that you thought that you weren't able to go on, that you were able to find that power inside of you? You know, what are the parts of your body where you actually feel good, you know, instead of that I don't have pain, and almost like redirecting their consciousness to their strength, their resiliency, their inner wisdom, their inner guidance, and a body awareness around finding their own places where it's relatively okay, where it feels good, all these kind of things. Because without having a very strong foundation for what is right, it is almost unimaginable to even try to heal what is wrong. And building that muscle of like what is working helps us create the safety for those places that really need that deeper healing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That is so true.
Thank you for answering that. I love your answer, your response to the question. And how do you think that emotional healing can help the physical body with pain management? And maybe you kind of covered that in what you just spoke about before.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the easy ways to describe it is it can be heard in our language if you listen carefully. My heart is broken.
Yes.
I am so pissed off. That person is a pain in my ass. Right? It's funny because we have these kind of idioms in our language that actually show us how our emotions directly connect to the pain in our body. And
that's true. That's true. And you wouldn't ignore it because it's easy to think like a headache.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't ignore a headache. You'd automatically go to get some kind of painkiller or something, but you'd give some attention to that. And you can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God. I love that response. Do you have any other questions for Bonnie?
Yes. You are a well, you help with autoimmune disease as well as theta healing, right? Or is that just like theta healing, or you do separate?
Yeah. So
work?
when I work with people one-on-one or in groups, I definitely use a combination of all the tools in my toolbox. And that being said, each person has such a unique experience and a unique body and a unique path to their own healing. When I work with people, I really look at like, what are your biggest challenges? What is it that you want instead? And what is it going to take to get you there? And so something that works well for somebody may not work well for someone else. And theta healing is just one of the incredible tools that I have in my toolbox to help with people. Yeah.
Right. So we're talking like you work with a lot of holistic remedies. So we're talking, homeopathic medicines and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Well?
So I do not, even though I know a lot about nutrition and supplements and those sort of things, just from my own experience, that really is not my area of expertise in helping people.
Okay.
My area of expertise in helping people is really around like the emotional and the energetic pieces. Specifically about, where is your energy being drained? How do we reconnect to your inner strength and your inner resiliency? What is it specifically that you are dealing with emotionally because of this experience of chronic pain and chronic illness? And also providing people with tools that they can use on their own to manage the pain and manage the fatigue.
Right, and they would do that through the healing energies, or they would also do that through diet. So is there anything that you recommend as far as like diet is concerned, or you just recommend a good diet in general?
I would say, there are some things that are pretty standard regarding diet. I mean, this isn't my specialty, but I mean, across the board, it's pretty standard, no sugar, no gluten, no dairy, eat your fruits and veggies, those kind of things.
So you'd advise them to look into a healthier, at least eating habits, at least for the most part. Because it's mind, body, spirit. That's the work you do with mind, body, and spirit, right?
Yeah, I would say more specifically like on that topic of nutrition and health, the area that I work with people in is like a lot of people know, like I know I don't need to be eating this, I know I should be eating that, I know I should be doing this, I know I should be doing that, but I'm not doing it. And so what I really help them is like, what is that resistance that is keeping you from doing it? And, how can we make some changes in the subconscious mind or inside yourself to where you have the willpower to make those changes and actually make it easier so that you're not sabotaging yourself during the healing process.
And I think it's so wonderful what you do because, I mean, following the law of attraction myself, I feel like the theta healing from what I've learned is that it helps people out who also are trying to follow the law of attraction, but quite can't get the hang of it because it's so deep, like Yvette says. It's deep, but it's not like you said, you're not hashing out the past. You're not. It's not about that, but it's about kind of looking in the mirror and having to really face of what's going on with you. And only you, nothing else or anyone else. And this is a great tool. This is a great thing, a place for people to go to. You're a great person to go to because you would help someone who just could not, found the law of attraction really overwhelming and could not get themselves to make those first initial steps. Right?
Yeah, I hear you.
I wish I knew you sooner. You should
I'm going to be calling you, okay?
Yeah. Well, what I would say is a lot of people know what they should be doing, but there's a difference between knowing in our head and really knowing as a full body experience.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that we could all relate to having that experience of like, oh yeah, I've known that for a while, but now I really get it. And so bringing that like body awareness into our knowing is really important.
Absolutely. So, Bonnie, what golden nuggets can you share with the people out there about autoimmune diseases who are tuned in today and that will watch this on once we put it on our YouTube page?
Yeah, so I would be happy to answer that. And if the people who are on with us live would also like to answer, like, what is their takeaway of our time together, that'd be great too. Excuse me. So I would say the most important thing that I would like to leave people with is that when it comes to healing, being able to fully experience the healing in a way that is authentic and whole body and really integrative does take all parts. And it really does take you looking inward and coming closer to, you know, what is your authentic truth? What is your inner intuition and your inner guidance tell you? Because we're in a society of information overwhelm. You can get any sort of information or answer you want on the internet these days. And people are losing the skill of going inwards and listening to their own personal truth. And so what works for one person may not work for another. So cultivating the skill of going inwards is really, going inwards for the answers is really important.
Right. Yes. I totally agree with that. I'm always saying this to people. You have to work with your own bio-individuality to see what works for you. Because I know I work with a lot of lupus patients, and each and every one of them is different. So what I do with one may not be the same of what I do with the next. It's always some sort of, everybody has their own bio-individuality. So I totally get what you're saying. And thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a very good golden nugget to leave our viewers with. So, Bonnie, where can someone contact you if they want further information, if they want to further explore what you do and explore how, you know, your healing modalities, and also what is your website?
Yeah, so my name is Bonnie Bea. It's spelled Bonnie Bea. And sorry, I'm kind of spaced out. The easiest way to connect with me would be to go to my website. And my website is beyondautoimmune.com. And I would say that, I'm sorry, what was the first part of your question? Because I kind of like, there was a lot in that question. What was the first part?
Where can someone contact you if they want to further explore emotional healing? And what is your website and contact information? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that want to contact you after hearing what you do, because what you do is totally amazing.
Great. Okay, so I live in Santa Cruz, California, but I do work with people all over the world over Skype and over the phone. So if, you put my address in the chat box. Good. So if you want to contact me, my suggestion would be you go to my website, and on my website there is an application for a Reclaim Your Health session. And to apply for that, it's a $197 value. But if you apply for the session on my website, then I offer a reduced price for people who have attended like my signature talk or my special event. And so in the application, at the bottom of the application, it says promo code. Just put Yvette, and I'll know that you came from this event, and I'd be happy to give you a discounted session for $33.
Awesome. Oh my God.
Yes.
That's so cool. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for doing that.
That is wonderful. You're such an inspiration.
You really are, Bonnie. We want to thank you. We kind of went over, but we had to because the information you have is so wonderful, and I totally resonate with it. And I know that there's a lot of people out here, a lot of the viewers that resonate with it, and I know she resonates with it. And we're totally into law of attraction, and I just love what you're doing. So thank you so much.
Before we cut it short, I have to ask this. So you can actually do this online. So let's say I'm in the United States. You're not in Europe. I'm in the other side,
New York.
Right. So how would we would be able to have sessions over the phone? I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, we absolutely would. The unique way that I work with people is instead of me like doing something to you, like when I said in that session, I was like, I went to this lady, she did something magical, I left, I was like, I don't know what she did, and I felt better. But what I like to do is I really like to walk people through exactly the step-by-step process that I'm going through with them so that they can begin to learn these skills and tools on their own.
Right.
And that way,
this is not something that has to be like one-on-one. It could be done like this, basically. Right?
Yeah, so we can do it over the phone. Yeah.
I mean, people are not going to fly to you. I mean, I suppose they could, but I'm just saying.
I mean, I live in Santa Cruz, California. They can, and they can come to me if they want.
I wasn't sure if that was something that needed to be done, like one-on-one, you know.
I wouldn't mind going out.
I would do it. And the other thing I wanted to make note of is that we're all wearing red. So we were all drawn together today. And I didn't know I was wearing red.
And you're wearing red. So that's awesome. So Bonnie, so your sessions, you do them on the phone. Do you also do Skype or kind of like what you...
Yeah, I can do on the phone, Skype, Zoom, in person. For people who are local in my area, I love for them just to come into my office because I think that, you know, having the personal in-person touch, there's no substitute for that. And equally, I have clients who rave about our work together. And I even have some clients who have a hard time with mobility, and they are here in Santa Cruz, and so we meet on the phone. And that works really well. Also, I do group programs, and I'm consistently doing like talks and all sorts of things. So, you know, just if anybody out there is interested, just reach out, and I'd be really happy to share what I have to give. And, you know, if working together is not a good fit, I'd just like to send you to someone who is. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bonnie.
Any last for Bonnie?
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Honestly, what you're doing is a great thing. You look amazing. So I know you have it. That's wonderful. And you don't. You help strictly women with autoimmune, or is this something?
I help men too. I speak a lot about women because in my group programs they're for women. So I also do help men one-on-one, but my groups are strictly for women. And yeah, and you know, and these tools, these tips, these processes that I share with people, I don't do it because like it's not that I'm like this master or like guru at it. These are things that have helped me, and I continue to use them day to day. So that's why, you know, I look and I feel great is because it's a practice. So,
right.
That's
wonderful.
Yeah. Well, Bonnie, I'd like to thank you for being on Listen Up, taking time out of your day to be here with us today. I learned a lot, and I'm sure the viewers learned a lot. Oh, yeah. And just thank you so much for the work that you do. I mean, you're going out there and helping women who need the help, and you're just amazing. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you for being here with us today.
For having you here, help expand the universe.
Yes.
You know, I'm so grateful.
Oh, thank you so much.
We're all for the
I'm
same.
so grateful for you guys.
To go out there and heal the world. So thank you so much, Bonnie. Love you. Yes. Folks, Bonnie's information is here on the comments. And I'm gonna post this on our YouTube page as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Bonnie. She's also on Facebook as well. And basically, that's all we have to share for today. Sorry we went over, but it was some really great information, and I'm sure you guys got a lot of wisdom poured into you. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Bonnie. You have a fantastic day, and we'll be in touch. Take care. Bye.
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 We're done.